report. Hanging at the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. For your latest news in high school sports, tune in to the fish report. Don't need no bed, don't need no pull. When you tune in to the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. You got Craig and TK and Heather D. Tune in at the fish report.
Coming to you live from Studio F in Russia, Ohio. It's the Fish Report Live Show with your hosts, Craig Fissinger and Ken Francis.
Tune in to the fish report.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another Fish Report Live. Thanks for waking up with us. I'm Craig Fissinger. That is Ken Francis. We're your host. Back in our sound room this morning, it's TK and Heavy D. We'll be talking to them a little bit later in the program. And out in Studio R, Covey and Kern's back again. Always excited to talk to them. Ken, I see you got your Made for More coffee cup this morning. And we're going to talk about a sport this morning that I don't think we've talked about in 7-8 years.
You know, I don't think we have either, Craig. And really looking forward, Craig, to covering a little bit of soccer action tonight. In particular, girls soccer Division III, Craig. And in the state of Ohio, the number 3 ranked team are the Anna Lady Rockets. They are led defensively by their defensive 4-year specialist, and that's Claire Bensman. The senior from Anna has the Rockets undefeated again this year. Last year, they went through the regular season undefeated. Really looking forward to finding out more about the Lady Rocket soccer program, talking to Claire Bensman, and seeing what makes those Lady Rockets go.
Yeah, going to be a fun interview and a lot of postseason sports to talk about, so let's get right to it. You know, my favorite sport coming up this weekend, the cross-country, the regional, my favorite venue to watch a cross-country meet, and you know, a lot of local teams going to be there. A lot of fun going to Troy, watching them on the levee bank.
Yes, it is, Craig. It's always been an exciting race to go watch. In particular, I think it's the greatest cross-country course of all the regional, and it beats the state setting as well. And we've been going there to watch the boys and girls run, and not only at Division III level, Craig, but you see the Division I, Division II schools that come up from Cincinnati. Just some phenomenal runners over the years, and it's always exciting to watch them perform on the levee.
Well, let's start out talking about the boys. You know, they have some Division II, some locals running in Division II and Division III as well. Let's start out with Division II. Division
II boys, Craig, the lone local team there are the Anna Rockets, Craig, and on an individual basis, you have Brooks Blakely from Versailles. Craig, they'll be running at 11:45 on Saturday morning. Look for Anna freshman Lucas Smith, Craig. I think the kid's a phenomenal runner. He had a great race over at the Shelby County Championships over here in Russia. And, I think he's got a great shot at making it to Columbus. And, it's going to be a fun, exciting race, and it'll be super fast Saturday morning.
Yeah, I don't know if the Anna boys are going to make it over there. I got some other schools that I feel like are a little bit better. Madeira, Tippecanoe, Shawnee, and Eaton are 4 schools that I have as my top 4. Anna boys done very well this year, and I agree with you. I think Lucas Smith makes it as an individual, but I think it's going to take a lot for the Rockets to advance as a team. But let's go to Division III, Ken. A lot more schools that we're familiar with. What do you see there?
Well, Craig, when you look at the boys regional Division III over at Troy, a lot of local teams. You got Botkins, Fort Loramie, Houston, Arcanum, and West Liberty, Salem. Craig, these runners, this boys race will be taking off at 11 a.m. on Saturday morning. It'll be the first race of the day. Craig, I really like Fort Loramie here. I think their boys team has been running very well. They're they've got a state championship under their belt, a lot of experience. So I think the Redskins are going to win the regional. I think they're going to be pushed mightily by Summit Country Day. West Liberty boys are also very good, and look for Greenon most likely to grab that 4th spot to advance to Columbus. But again, a lot of local teams there, but I think it's Fort Loramie's race to win. I think they just got the talent and the depth to take care of business.
Yeah, and those Fort Loramie boys, I know at least last week, I'm not sure what their ranking is this week, but I know last week they were ranked number 1, and West Liberty actually pulled off a big upset, beat them at the district. We'll see if they can continue that same success this Saturday. A couple individuals I'm looking forward to on the boys' side. I had a Houston fan actually ask me today, what do you think the Wildcats' chance are to advance? I don't see the Wildcats getting past those 4 schools you mentioned. I agree with you on that. I think Tristan Freisteller, their senior over there, has got a good shot to advance, as well as Tanner Delk, a runner that I've seen many times this year from Arcanum. He actually got beat by Joe Ballas from Fort Loramie last last Saturday at the district, but Tanner, a very good runner. I think he advances for Arcanum. And we'll take a quick look at the girls' side. I've paid close attention to them, of course, this year. Actually had that interview last week with those Russia seniors. I think on the girls' side, West Liberty and Fort Laramie, they're shoo-ins to get in. They're going to make it. A couple of the top teams in the state right there. I think Versailles actually is going to. I think they're going to get in, no problem there. I don't see Versailles up on our list there, but I know they're very good this year. I see them getting in, and I think for that 4th spot, I'm going to go with the Russia Raiders on that one. I know last week at the district they got beat by Bradford, who got number 4, and then Catholic Central filled in at number 5 spot. I think Russia going to rise to the occasion on this one, Ken. I do think that Bradford's sophomore Skip Miller, as well as their senior Carmen Knepp, is going to advance the state. There's a couple girls, the Engel girls from Catholic Central, very good team there. I think they advance, as well as a senior over there at Covington, Paige Boehringer. I think she advances as well. But I think Russia fills into that number 4 spot and continues their tradition of success and getting to the state meet. But it's going to be a lot of fun. That course, as we just said, a lot of fun to watch a meet on. It sure beats the heck out of the news we got this week from the state and the changes they're making to that course.
Yes, they are, Craig. And first of all, I got to agree with you on the Russia girls. I think the meet's going to be totally different because you're going to have a lot more talent. And I think Russia's top 3 runners that they're going to put up there, most likely in the top 25, will carry the Raiders. They're going to keep that total point a little bit lower versus last week when I think there was larger gaps. But this week there's not going to be so many big gaps, and I think the Raiders are going to take advantage of that. But big news from Hebron from the Raceway over there, Craig. They're changing the course for the OHSAA state cross-country meet. Rather than run half of the race on the other side of the speedway, most of the race now is going to take place in the woods, which has a lot of people fired up about it, Craig, including myself, because you know what? You're really not going to be able to see them.
No, not at all. Again, cross-country is not a spectator-friendly sport at a lot of venues, but you get to the state meet and you pay your $10 to get in, and you want to see the runners. And I realize it wasn't the most spectator-friendly course to begin with, but it sure didn't get any better with these changes.
No, it did not, Craig. And, I'm not sure what the OHSA was thinking there when they moved the course that way. But, I guess they've got the final say-so, and I guess we'll see what the fans think of it in a couple weeks.
All right, great stuff there. Now let's change gears, kind of talk a little football, and for that, let's go out to Studio R, check in with Covey and Kearns. Good morning, guys. We're heading into Week 10 here. Is there anything that's left to be decided yet?
Yeah, there'll be a lot of the big things. Will be a lot of the seedings coming up this week. I know for sure Coldwater has clinched a home playoff game, even though they lost to St. Henry. St. Henry actually coming in at a 5 seed, and they play a favorable game against Parkway, which they should win. But I think the Week 11 we're going to see Coldwater play St. Henry. Coldwater's got the big game with Marion this Friday. Obviously hyped down a little bit because of Coldwater's last 2 losses. A lot of people thought they were both going to go in 9-0. But there's still a lot at stake for Marion, who's actually sitting at a 2 seed right now in Region 24. They're sitting right behind Lima Central Catholic. I actually think Marion's still the best team in that region and the team to beat. But Marion, with a loss, could still potentially share the MAC title with Anna this Friday if they lose.
I'm glad to see Kearns is awake back there. Or is he? I'm not sure. Maybe. Hello, Kearns.
I was awake for a little bit, but yeah, I agree with all Kobe what he said there. St. Henry's going to get that easy win, and then Coldwater and St. Henry are going to play in that Week 11 with Coldwater with the home court advantage. So don't sleep on Coldwater again. St. Henry beat them one time for the first time in 20 years, you said 22. Last week. So yeah, that's going to be a battle for those 2 MAC teams going at it right out of the chute.
Covey, I know you know a lot of stuff back there. Do you happen to know when the last time Coldwater lost 3 consecutive MAC football games?
Wow. Never. I don't know.
It may be never. You might be right. It might be never.
Yeah, it's something different for Coach Otten, too, and I think it's different for the tradition in Coldwater. You're so used to winning. How do you react to losing, I'm going to take Marion this Friday, but I think St. Henry actually poses as the biggest threat to Marion, because Marion's, I think, the heavy favorite. Even though they might come in with a 2 seed, they're looking where they could play Covington out of the CCC with a 7 seed in their first round. Marion's the team to beat, but their biggest threat is St. Henry. With that run game, Zach Niekamp had 3 touchdowns, running behind their left tackle, Caden Niekamp, the Ball State commit. They're just a really good team, and I think they're really Marion's biggest threats, which are surprising a lot of people. But Coach Brad Luthman's had it a while coming. St. Henry's really cashing in right now.
Yeah, I'd agree with that Minster win this weekend, like you said, with Covington. They're a sleeper for him, so watch out for him in the first week.
What's your over-under prediction on the 50-50 over there at Coldwater Friday night, Kobe?
I'd give it 10. It might be somewhere up with this Mega Millions right now, 1.6 billion. But I'm going to go about probably 10,800. It might be better than what the Whistle Stop was dishing out a couple months ago, but might be $10,801.
All right,
13-5.
Yeah, and Laramie. If we're going to move on to Division 7 here for a second, Laramie actually with a win this Friday over Tri-County North, they should wrap up their first. They have a guaranteed share, so if they win, they'll have their first outright cross-county football conference title. They're in their second season. Tri-County North actually sitting at a 9 seed right now. They lost to Miami East 42-0. I expect Laramie to roll over easy in this game. Laramie actually potentially preparing to play a team just right up 66 in New Bremen. New Bremen sitting at an 8 seed. They can still get overtaken by a couple schools by the name of Riverdale and New Miami. I think Riverdale's got to play a 9-0 Pandora Gilboa team, and New Miami's got to play Dayton Christian, who has won 7 in a row. I even though New Bremen plays Minster, and I think Minster should win by, I'm going to say it's going to be about a touchdown game. I'm going to take Minster here, but I think New Bremen will hold on the 8th spot and get their first playoff berth since 2004. And it's a really tough test, I think, it'll be for Laramie that first week in the playoff if New Bremen does get that 8th slot.
Yeah, Laramie has played a lot of pretty easy games throughout the ending of this game, and for this week 10, they'll probably get another easy win, secure that CCC trophy. But New Bremen's kind of a sleeper that I don't think they played a lot of MAC schools this year at all, so it'll be a test for them coming out, and New Bremen getting their first playoff in how many years?
14.
14, so they'll be hot, ready to play that first week 11 in 14 years. So it's definitely a sleeper, and I think I'll take New Bremen that week 11 game.
I want to ask both of you guys a question, and let's look at Fort Laramie. Every Saturday morning when I look at the score, they're winning 55-6 or 62-4 or something like that, every week. And it's like, okay, Kobe and Kearns, I know Laramie's good, not taking anything away from the Redskins. Is Laramie that good, or is the rest of the league that bad?
I just don't think the league's that good. I think Laramie's a very good ball team. I think I've said it all year. They're it's either them or Minster, and I know they lost to Minster, but Minster's shown at times where they can be really good and really bad. I think if Laramie catches them on the right night, Laramie can beat Minster, and I definitely think Laramie can be one of those state Final Four teams. They got a real dynamic offense, a lot of good skill sets, but the CCC is just not on near as the level of the MAC. The MAC just embarrasses everyone around here. You just have a lot of schools that are inconsistently not very good. Tri-Village is starting up their football program. Bradford's down to 13 players. You play a team like that. Mississinawa is not very good. Tri-County North, a team just outside the playoff hunt, lost to Miami East 42-0. And I know Miami East is going to get a playoff berth most likely in Division 5. And then you also have Covington. Covington looks like they're going to get a berth in Division 6, most likely playing Marion Local or Lima Central Catholic. And Covington played their first 2 games against the season against St. Henry and Minster and got steamrolled by both of them in the process. I just don't think the CCC is in a very good spot. I think Laramie's having a hard time finding that competition. I know they're picking up a lot of good MAC schools, but it's tough for them. They can't get in the MAC, and I feel bad for them in the process because they have to settle for these mediocre opponents, so to speak, but they just can't play the quality of the MAC because they can't get in the MAC.
Well, they're getting a number 1 seed, guys. It looks like after this weekend, so it hasn't gone so bad for them. So
no, like I said, I'm not taking anything away from the Redskins at all. But I just see them just beating these teams by 50, 60 points every week. And I look at Ansonia right there. Ansonia 6-1 in the league, 7-2 overall.
Ranked higher than Minster.
And Fort Laramie beat them by 50. So
that's why we have the playoffs, and we'll find out starting next week, won't we?
Yeah, we will. And Laramie, I know they played Cincinnati Madero. That gave them a lot of points in Division 5. I know they're picking up St. Henry next year. They always play week 1 against their rival up 66 in Minster. So Laramie does as good as they can trying to play a strong schedule. So you can't blame them in the slightest.
Absolutely. And I know they got Versailles on their schedule in a couple years. So that'll be interesting as well.
All right, guys, that's all we got time for. Thanks for that report. And with that, we're going to take a short break, but stay right there. When we come back, we're going to talk some soccer, including that big interview with Anna star Claire Bensman. And welcome back to the second half of Fish Report Live. When we opened the show this morning, we said we were going to talk about a sport that we've never talked about in 8 seasons, and we're going to do that here this morning, the sport of soccer. So our next guest is actually a soccer defender over at Anna High School for the 16-0-2 Rockets. She'll be in action Saturday night at 7 o'clock in the district finals, taking on Cincinnati Hills Christian Academy. We welcome to the program now Claire Bensman. Claire, thanks for joining us on Fish Report Live.
Hi, thanks for having me on the show.
Well, listen, I'm going to take you right back to the beginning of the season. And Claire, so many accomplishments from last year. I know it was the first time your girls won your team won the WOSL. You were in the OHSAA record books for like 8 different kinds of records. Did you come into this season? What were your expectations? Did you think you could accomplish as much as what you did last year?
Well, last year's accomplishments do put some pressure on us and set the bar pretty high for this year. We lost 5 seniors last year, so some people did have to step up and fill the positions. But with a 16-0-2 record, I'd say they're doing pretty good. But starting with that WOSL title, that was definitely a goal of ours again this year because, you know, it's always a good battle against Lehman, but we're always really pumped for that game. And this year we worked pretty hard for that win, so that was good. As for goals and shutouts, this year that we knew we had a tougher schedule coming up with playing D1 and D2 schools. So we knew there wouldn't be as many of those, but it made us better. And then as for tournament play, we've never won the district ever in Anna's soccer history, so hopefully we'll be the first.
Well, you mentioned you lost 5 seniors from last year. You've got 4 of them back this year, as well as 10 juniors. Let's talk about those seniors a little bit, your senior classmates there. Introduce them to us for those that haven't followed Anna soccer all season.
Yep, so Brooke Hemsworth is a part of the Fab Four defense, as we call ourselves, and she plays right next to me as the right outside defender, and she has some great corner kicks that give our offense some opportunities to score. Marissa Van Gordon plays the wing position, and so does Kelsey McKinney, both seniors. They can run up the field pretty fast, but they can come back when we need them, so they work pretty hard. Marissa and Brooke started their sophomore year, so they're 3-year lettermen, and then me and Kelsey McKinney both are 4-year lettermen starting as freshmen.
Hi, Claire. This is Ken Francis. Welcome to Fish Report. Thanks for joining us this morning. Let's talk a little bit about the head coach, the guy that runs the program over there for the Anna Rockets, and that's Coach Mike Knoll. He's took over the program your freshman year. Like you said, you're a 4-year starter for him. What does he do so well with the Rocket program that brings fun to the program, that brings excitement, and makes the program so successful?
So he's actually been my coach since my sophomore year, but he's been coaching that junior class since they were about 8 years old, so he knows what he's doing. He's pretty dedicated. I think his life really revolves around soccer, which makes us that much better. Him and assistant coach Greg Van Gordon, they make us work hard, but they also find ways to keep it fun and light.
Listen, Claire, Saturday night you've got the big district championship game. You take on Cincinnati Hills Christian Academy. You don't know what you all know about them, but I'm sure they're bringing a lot of talent. I'm sure they play a very tough schedule coming out of that Cincinnati sectional. What do you know about them? What can you tell us about them, and what's it going to take for the Rockets to win a district championship?
Well, actually, me, some other teammates, and our coaches actually went and scouted them a couple weeks ago. Their defense is okay. They're not too great, but they're not bad. And their offense has a pretty fast striker, so we're going to have to watch her. To beat them, we just got to play our game, and our offense needs to keep moving on the field and be quick with the ball. And then our defense just needs to watch those strikers and cover for each other.
Hey, Claire, this is Craig again. A little earlier I asked you about your your senior teammates, but you have those 10 juniors I mentioned earlier, including 4 of them that I think were first-team All-WSL, and that's Savannah Hostetler, Taylor Knoll, Taylor Kaufman, and Michaela Ambos. Talk about those girls a little bit. Are they big keys to your success?
Oh, yeah, all those juniors, they're all very important to our team. I mean, Savannah Hostetler has been our varsity for all 3 years that she's been in high school. She has some great saves, and she also has a chance for the most career shutouts in her whole career. So that's pretty good. The 2 Taylors work well together. They have some great foot skills, and they're pretty unselfish with that ball, and they're a great 1-2 punch because Taylor Kaufman has the speed and Taylor Knoll has the strength. And then Michaela Ambis is part of the defense as well, and she's very energetic. And she's always making runs down the field like she's a wing and an offensive player. And then I also wanted to mention Adriana Ashford, who got honorable mention in the WSL because she's a great speed factor of our defense.
Claire, I got to ask you. Let's talk about how you've gotten to be such a good soccer player, particularly a defender. Know your family quite well. Your family's been very successful on the athletic fields, and but I don't know that any of them played soccer. Tell me, does your dad help you with the soccer skills, or your mom, or do you go in the backyard sometimes and practice with brother or sister? How do you improve your skills?
Well, I definitely don't go out in the backyard with my parents because I know I would probably embarrass them too badly. But my brother and sister actually did play soccer when they were younger. They played on some club teams, so that kind of led the way for me to start playing when I was about 8 years old. And I've just been working at it ever since, and I really love the sport, so I really wanted to be good at it, so I've always been working on it.
Well, you've gotten to be very good at it, and that's for sure, being the defensive specialist that you are, and a big part of the Rockets' success over the last many years.
Hey, Claire, we got one more question before we let you go. And we always like to ask our seniors what kind of plans they may have after high school. You graduate in the spring. What's the plans for after graduating there from Anna High School?
Well, I'm not sure exactly where I want to go to school yet. It kind of depends on the admissions and stuff. But I would like to focus on school and study to be a pediatric nurse practitioner. But I would definitely do some intramural soccer and stuff like that. So.
Sounds like a lot of fun there, Claire. Well, listen, Fish Report guys, we all appreciate you being on our show this morning, getting up early before school starts and joining us. And, best of luck Saturday. Hope the Rockets bring home that district championship. And I got to tell you, over here, we love following the Twitter account that you guys have. I don't know who runs your Twitter account there, but the Lady Rocket Soccer Chicks,
Rocket Soccer Chicks, yeah.
Soccer Chicks, whatever you guys are, you're fun to follow. So good luck to you guys on Saturday.
All right, thank you, and thanks again for having me.
Absolutely.
All right, that was Anna senior star defender Claire Bensman. Learned a little bit about soccer this morning, Ken, and yeah, Rocket Soccer Chicks, courtesy to them for those videos and those pictures that we were showing on our monitor here this morning.
Good stuff, and it was fun talking soccer, like you said, I think for the first time ever on our show.
Yeah. Well, one more other sport we want to get to this morning, and that is volleyball. A lot of volleyball went on last night, some sectional final games. For that, we're going to go back to Heavy D and TK, and I know TK is always on top of the volleyball scores. TK, give us a report.
All right. Can we hear it? All right, there we go. Sorry, a little delay there with the voice. Yeah, we've got a lot of soccer been going on the last couple of nights. Last night, big night with the Raiders winning. We can throw up some slides there. Actually, let's start with D3 here. We've got one game still to go. It's Northwestern and Versailles. They'll play. The winner of that will play Cincinnati Hills Christian Academy. Our friends from the Shelby County League, Anna Rockets, are playing Madeira. And Williamsburg will play Miami East, another good volleyball team from the area. So that's the D3 Southwest District activity coming up. And next, we're looking at the D4 Southwest District. So Miami Valley Christian Academy against Jackson Center. Shelby County there, of course. Layman Catholic looks like they're going to take on Fort Laramie after Fort Laramie's win. And then Southeastern and Russia will also be playing this Saturday. So we've got a lot of local representatives still moving on. And again, we've always talked about how good we've got volleyball around here, and it's continuing through the activity here in the postseason tournaments.
Well, that's great stuff there. All those matches happening in Troy on Saturday. Of course, you can go from the cross-country meet over there in the Levee Banks, walk across the street to Troy High School, and catch all the volleyball you want as well.
Done that before and can't wait to do it again Saturday.
Well, TK, I know the reason we go back to you every week is for our SCAL Star of the Week. Did you have time to pick one out this week?
Yeah, I did. I have to go right back to volleyball. A lot of football and other action. Some things, tapering off, but we got volleyball, we got football still strong. Have to go with volleyball, and I'm going to stay here at home in Russia with Jenna Cordonier. We've talked about her and their other teammates all year. She's now passed 2,000 assists in her career at Russia, so Great career. She set records all season. I'm sure she'll want to thank her back row that gets the ball to her. Of course, she's got Larissa Pulling and others, Ashley Scott up there that are helping her with those kills. So, but anyways, you got to get the ball to them. She's the quarterback. She's the one that makes that offense run as it would be. Just a super career and over 2,000 assists here at Russia. So congratulations to Jenna Cordonier.
Good call there, TK. Yeah, they've had a great year. They've been fun to watch, and really looking forward to seeing them play on Saturday.
Yep, should be a fun game, and I have to say I look for them to move on. They're hot. They're playing really well now, and I would be very surprised if they don't move on through Saturday.
All right, good stuff, TK. And Heavy D, what's in the mailbag this morning?
Well, let's go to a younger viewer, Ask Heavy D, and she writes, "Dear Mr. D, I'm not sure what to wear for trick or treat. Do you have any recommendations for Halloween costumes?"
Great question.
This is a great time of year, and I know we've participated in some Halloween parties over the years. So I dug into the Fish Report archives, and you know, for our young viewer, these are some options that you can consider. Here's one of Mr. and Mrs. Fish over the years. A pretty thick mustache there, and here's their amigo and amigas, Mr. and Mrs. D. I can't grow the stash like I used to back in the day, and you know, after a few margaritas, you know, the party livens up a little bit. This is one that I always like. If the Mexican thing isn't for you, you can go hippie. And I want to think that this is one of the first times that TK and Craig actually met each other. Craig introduced himself to TK by biting him on the shoulder.
TK's looking young there.
He is.
He's looking awful
looking good, TK.
So that's kind of a hippie look that I can offer out as an option.
That was, I think, his senior picture outfit there, I believe.
It might have been.
Might have been. You know, another option that you can go with is something around the cowboy option. There's Ken and his wife Julie dressing up there. Ken's got his hand in his pocket there pretty deep. And you know, when it's all said and done, if you have too much fun and you don't make nice options for the three options there, you can go Western, you can go Mexican, you can go hippie. We'll let you take it from there, guys.
I like that.
We're going to have to start screening these pictures before they come through here, Ken. So,
you think so?
Yeah, I'm afraid I'm going to get in trouble one of these weeks.
Yeah.
All in good fun.
I doubt it.
All right, guys. Great stuff there, as always. And with that, we're out of time, Ken.
All right.
Good
Great
morning.
show.
Good morning.
Hey, about time to get ready and go to work.
That's going to wrap it up for us this morning. Do want to say special thanks to our guest, Claire Bensman, for joining us early in the morning, like Ken said, before school starts. The rest of the crew, for myself, Ken, we'll all be back again next week, same time, same place. Until then, have a great day, everyone.
Hanging at the fish report. 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 For your latest news in high school sports, tune in to the fish report. Don't need no bed, don't need no pull. When you tune in to the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. Hanging